I'm seeing a mix of krump and afro. Whoa! Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we're taking a look at Primekingz recently uploaded Mega Crew. Now, it's not affiliated with any show. I know the last time we've seen a Mega Crew or I've reacted to one was an affiliation with Street Man Fighter, but they were already eliminated prior to that coming out. So it was really a huge shock, wonderful, and the color grade, camera work, everything. So it's super cool that we get to see this here. Very intrigued on what they're bringing to the table. I know there's going to be some imagery that kind of like Easter eggs, things like that. Yeah, I can't wait. Let's go ahead and get into it. I know that's playing a more Black Panther influence here. I'm seeing a mix of krump and afro. Whoa! Do we have ladies in Primekingz, or should I say Primekingz? That would be really cool if that's the case. Ooh, that drips all the way up at the top. Ooh, that angle is real cool. So cinematic. Bless it. Yes to that. Okay, bringing it back. We gotta talk through the whole thing. Initial thoughts. I absolutely love this. Definitely, it is different than what we saw from the previous Mega Crew. I think it was so appropriate what they did during the other one. There was more grit, there was more drive, there was more watch what you missed out on, is really what that came across as. Here, it really felt like, look at all of the different pockets we're choosing to explore. I love this. And what's interesting too is it's so timely, I think, because with the previous one, it was mixed with haka, some more of that kind of cultural collaboration between haka and krump. Here it's more afro and krump. And it's cool that we had more of that imagery of Black Panther. It was really cool. You could tell by some of the symbolism as well as what he did here. That's kind of what made me think that. At first, I mean, of course, when we see the mask, it's cool that it kind of feels like this is what you saw us before, and now this is our, like, an iOS update is what it feels like, which is super cool. It's a different approach. It feels more organic. It's just a different, I feel like it's a kind of a way of them demonstrating this is what you know us as, this is what we want you to continue to see us as, but here's like a little bridge, little pretty image of a bridge that I did not make, but I like the masks, and it's cool that with Primekingz they have more of this. This feels like that mesh, or not mesh, that underneath more very like a cool fit kind of athletic top that a lot of motocross people wear. I've seen it there. Now I know here it looks more like armor, you know, like it really tailors to Black Panther is really what this feels like to me. Like they're really kind of have that kind of organic tribal sound, but a different tribe than the other tribes. Like Hawkett's a different tribe, different culture entirely than what we've seen here. So it's really cool to see these kind of shook it off. I think it's funny. His hair's gelled, so he's probably just like loosening his neck. Sometimes when we see people do that, it's like moving their hair, but his hair is not going anywhere. Like their hair looks really cool. There is no, like, a tsunami probably could not get their hair to move. Like that's the amount of gel we're seeing, but I am living for it. I love it. Super dope. Just look at this. He's adding just a subtle breath like what we had seen before. Yeah, this just gives that kind of motorcycle aesthetic too, because of the bottom. You have the zippers as well. So it is cool. This aerial shot was phenom. Did you see this? That is super dope. Now this is what made me think Black Panther when you see the necklace right there. Also, I mean, I wouldn't really say location, but location is in a quarry. Super dope. Love it. Color gray, that's more of like a icy kind of color gray. Just a different, it's nice that you can tell. I'm assuming everybody's a member of Primekingz, maybe. I'm assuming, or they're affiliated in some way, obviously. But this right here, it looks like they're creating this. It's like a lot of times we see this, they can make a bird call, you know, it's like a signal, and that's just what that reads off, and I love that. That's super dope. Dun, 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 dun. Matches super well. You just have these cuts here, slow motion. I love that, doom, 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 and then it feels like a wave being pressed forward. Super dope, but also they're crawling. It's kind of like they're overcoming heavy terrain, and they're approaching like they're hunting is what it feels like. Because sometimes, at least in what I've been exposed to, this is just my exposure to historical tribal anthropology is heavily less on the exposure scale than dance techniques, if that makes sense. So forgive me if I am speaking too broad on this particular topic. I don't know an extensive amount, but I know some tribes. I'm not speaking like African tribes, but I have seen African tribe like photos whenever I'm reading up on, for me, biblical kind of like missionary work sometimes, or like going into different tribes. Or just understanding different people groups, that's kind of my scope of what I've been exposed to in that realm. Sometimes whenever there's there's an animal that's killed, or there's sometimes there's jewelry, they wear bones as jewelry, whether it's animal or human. It's just, there's certain cultures. I know I don't know voodoo culture, but that's in Haiti. It's different than, it's just, I'm just speaking about something I'm not super fluent in, so I'll stop right here. But I'm saying that this, having the imagery of the bones, the reason why it works is because it's I've personally have seen it when, regardless of what tribe they're trying to integrate or emulate, it's a sense of that they're hunters, right? And it's like that's their prize. He preps it up, boom, and then they go right into the ISOs, traveling it up. Just this, the posture that they are carrying is so strong, and they're so fluent in it, and it's gorgeous to see. Yeah, so it's cool that they're hitting here, right here. That's more of a double bounce that you see in more Afro. You see that way more there than you would see in Krump. They don't really carry that kind of groove. This, I've heard it called two things. I've heard it called footwork, and I've heard it called butterfly. No, it wasn't called butterfly. I'm so sorry. That's different. That's a different move entirely. Happy feet. Happy feet or fast footwork. Gosh, I can't believe I said that. Anyway, so that was really cool to see that. Boom, 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 boom. So this was such a sick combination because they chose to not just go big to big. They went big, small, small, small. Super cool. Love that. Chose to throw it, drag it over. I think my only note here, but here's the thing, they're doing this for fun. It's not for a competition or anything, so it doesn't matter this choice. But I do notice a lot of times with the different Primekingz featured members, they are choosing to just walk to a new spot versus, I mean, they did some camera masking and camera work to really make the transitions come to life. But I would say though that we're really not seeing a ton of interesting feature transitions, if that makes sense, aside from just a couple that we've seen. I think this is one of like maybe 3 walking transitions we see, which is totally fine. I love this. It's subtle, effective, and it builds, you know, so it's really cool. You're able to easily see your feature here. Shaking of the head, I love it. So it has a really heavy, they're really integrating, making interesting choices with integrating their crop pocket with afro. It's definitely different than what I normally see, and I love it. That's another example. He kind of ran around to get to his spot, which is a little different. The camera work, of course, looks great and everything, but that's just my other note. Tilting it in, down. He gets exploded in, he gets caught, and then it zooms in and it opens back up, different section of the quarry. I love this right here, right there. That's what another nuance to Black Panther. So overall though, just the unison is really nice. How they're choosing to carry their pocket is really nice. I think that it's just interesting. It's just interesting, the choreographic choices. I really feel like they're really trying to tie an afro into what they're used with Crump. Like they're really trying to show another side of themselves. And it's very timely because I know Trix was just on Street Woman Fighter. I'm assuming this was filmed, or maybe it was filmed around the same time, I don't know. But it feels that, you know, heavy afro coming from Jam Republic, especially with Kirsten and Latrice. So I'm wondering if there was a sense of inspiration that kind of crossed over into this, because I know Trix was somebody who adjudicated one of the rounds that we just recently saw. I don't know how the filmings line up or anything, but I think it's cool that we're seeing this here. And it looks freaking sick, you know? This is really cool because it's ladies. We're not used to seeing ladies in a Primekingz anything. So this is super dope. I don't know if these are the women of Primekingz and they're their own crew or what, or if they are part of Primekingz. No idea, but I love to see it. Or maybe they're representing a different style representation and they're just naturally a good fit for this concept. You know, so it's once again a lot of afro fundamentals that they're exploring here. It is so sick. That mask just travels all the way up to the eyes. That was super dope. And then we go into they're known for integrating heavy ISOs, Crump foundation. This feels very similar to the last Mega Crew we saw from them. Super dope. Just a bleed through. He's the only one that kind of creates this extra finger wave that helps draw your attention to the center, which is super cool. The wave through from here, boom. They kind of just use the finger waves around. That was such a sick angle, that with the vibration to get him reset. Everybody took their mask off except for him. Then he's turning into puppeting over. You can tell that I'm way more familiar with these fundamentals than a lot of the other ones we were looking at. I think too, like with Afro, it's still a style that I'm a student of. It's one where there's so much terminology and vocabulary from different tribes, different nations, entirely different countries represent different cultural grooves, and so forgive me for not knowing as much of the terminology. See, even the one that is very popular, Happy Feet, like it took me a second to realize it was Happy Feet. I said butterfly, shame on me, right? So I'm saying that it's a work in progress for myself when it comes to identifying the actual terminology of the moves. So I'm just saying that at the forefront, I am still learning. I hope a year from now, I'm way more familiar and fluent in it because I know it is here to stay. It's always been around, but it's presenting more of the forefront in the commercial realm and media. And so I really do feel a conviction to really dive into the analytical side a little bit more, and because I've always seen it and I've always enjoyed it. But and I do adjudicate it to some extent as well. But being able to know it as fluently as I do know waving or popping or other technical foundational styles is definitely a goal of mine. So I apologize now if I'm not able to give not be able to give as much detailed description feedback on certain sections like I am able to in these types of sections. But anyway, going here, I really like this explosion of the masks, like how he took his off. Now we're over into full group unison. That was sick. With a build up to match that little with the sound. Super cool. It is interesting too. The last time we saw them in Mega Crew, not a single person had a shirt on, and this time they are fully covered, and I think that is hilarious. But I love it. I love it nonetheless. I think it's super cool. It flatters everybody. It looks great. Black's a great color. Now I really like the choice of the switch between the aerial shots and the in the face kind of shots. It's very different than what we've seen from them. Super cool. You're able to see and feature your members a lot more effectively this way. I love that. Just a boom explosion with an add-on. Super cool. Yeah, so just having a circle shot with everybody doing, I think that's called a whoa. I think is what I've heard it be called before. So forgive me if I'm wrong. That's how I learned it whenever I did foundation and crown. But when they drop, they came up. They're the only ones still up. Just a shot of them going around. Man, oh man, this looks super cool. Them 5. So part of me thinks that the women are not a part of Primekingz, or they would have been a part of this section. Or maybe they are, and that was just their like introduction of, hey, we have women. I don't know. But I really like the fact that they were there, they were a part of it, because they were strong, they held their own, and it didn't drop in quality of movement by any means. So this was super cool. Did it blow my mind as much as the first one did? I'm gonna be honest, no, but it's also because I had just watched so much of Street Man Fighters, so I'd already seen them and a lot of things that they've done. And their first Mega Crew, I think, had a lot of extra emotional isms affiliated with it. Here, I'm assuming the intention of it is just to do it, and it just makes me enjoy it, and I love it, and there's really cool moments in it, but there's nothing in there that screams, oh my god, my mind is blown, you know. But I just love the choices that they made. It was really cool, and I love seeing this side of Primekingz. Is super dope. Thank you guys so much for watching. I mean, I hope I was helpful in some way. I already vocalized that I'm not as fluent in Afro as I wish that I was in regards to terminology, vocabulary, citing sources, references, formations, integration, variation choices, like I am about other styles. I am actively working on that daily. And what's nice is Street Woman Fighter, I'm able to see a lot of it there because of Jam Republic. So I definitely feel that I am naturally getting more exposed to it, so I'm able to see ongoing trends and patterns, so I can see it in other facets of the dance world. But please be gracious to me if you are somebody who is definitely way more integrated in Afro culture than I am. That is something that I am still a student of, so I do ask that you give me, at least give me a year and see if I can step up to the plate on a more analytical side. But thank you guys again for watching. If you want to see more content like this, for Street Man Fighter, Street Woman Fighter, I have it all on YouTube. I also have a Patreon that has early release content, so I release things early over there before it makes its way over here. I'd love for you to check it out if you think that's a really cool option, if you like what I do. But yeah, thank you again, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.